In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful rice paper leaves in different sizes, and also I'm going to make one in this shape. So I think it's very fall appropriate, and I hope you like this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and let's begin. To make my leaves I'm going to use this premium quality rice paper. You can use different kinds. Also have this one spring roll rice wrapper, so it's up to you, but try to use fresh rice paper. I'm using my template to make this leaf just to make my life easier. Click here to download this template, or I will put the link down below in the comment section. So I'm going to use an edible marker to transfer my design. And because my rice paper is fresh, I can use regular scissors to cut it out. And if your rice paper is not as soft and flexible as mine, and you want to cut the exact shape and using this template, what you can do is use a piece of parchment paper, place your rice paper on top, take a large brush and a little bit of water, and make sure your rice paper is damp on one side. Turn it upside down and place it on top of your parchment paper, and use water to moisten this side. And put it on the side to dry for maybe 10-15 minutes until it becomes flexible but not as sticky as this one. Then take your template, another piece of parchment paper, and transfer your design onto parchment paper. When your rice paper becomes flexible, you can place your piece of parchment paper on top. Make sure you have no wrinkles or air bubbles, and then you can cut rice paper in between two layers of parchment paper. Now you can remove top layer or one of the layers of your parchment paper and leave this rice paper and parchment paper stuck together to dry, to make sure it's flat. And to make my leaf stems I'm going to use this rice vermicelli, or any clear glass noodle will work. So I'm going to take a few pieces, break them in half. It depends on the size of your noodles. For me, half the size works well for the stem. I'm going to place it in this container and add hot water. This water is almost boiling because I want these noodles to become flexible and softer, so I will put it aside for about 10-15 minutes. Now to paint my leaf, I'm going to place it on top of parchment paper. I can take one of my rice noodles. You can see now it's much more flexible. I'm going to use a little bit of water on one side, place my stem, and put my rice paper leaf on top. And I'm going to add more water to make it flexible. And to add color, I'm going to use gel colors. I'm going to use this green, brown, and orange. And I mix my gel colors with water, and I will mix them together because this green is a little bit too bright to my liking. So I will use this green and mix a little bit more of this brown. And you can always use a piece of paper towel to check if you like this color or not. So for me, maybe a little bit more green here. And I'm going to use my brush and lightly paint on my leaf. If it becomes too wet, you can use a piece of paper towel and gently remove some of the excess water. And then you can add more green if you like to, or this bright orange. I don't want my colors to be dark, but I still want to have some differences in between these different parts of the leaf. So something like that, maybe a little bit more brown on this side. And you can use more of this mixture, something probably brown, to color the stem. And I will leave it to dry. You can even put this in your oven on the lowest setting for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now I'm going to do the same with my other leaf. Take my pre-cut leaf, remove this parchment paper. And because it's still soft, I will just place it on top. And I'm going to use same gel colors, but maybe start with this orange, maybe more of this green. And you can see I'm gently pressing my brush against the rice paper. So I don't want to move it around, but I want my colors to mix together and create this watercolor fall effect. And I will put it aside to dry. And when your leaves are dry, it's not sticky anymore, and on the back side you can see that my parchment paper is dry as well. And you should have no problem releasing your leaves from your parchment paper. If it's still soft and some places like this middle part is not dry enough, you can turn it upside down and leave it for another hour or so. And to make it even more interesting, I'm going to use a little bit of this pearl powder. I'm using in color ruby because I think it's fall appropriate, but you can use gold or silver. It's up to you and depends on your cake design where you're going to use this rice paper leaves. I'm going to take a few drops of alcohol. I want my color to be relatively thick, and I'm going to draw all the interesting designs on my leaves. Think of this as autumn or fall craft. Now we can do the same for our cakes. So something like this. And now you have it. Now you know how to create this beautiful rice paper fall inspired leaves that you can put on your cake. Let me know in the comments which of the colors or designs is your favorite and what do you want to see next.